Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about installing control horns on the 106-inch Raven. Alright, so one of the first steps that needs to be done when working on this plane, getting all the prep work done, is each one of these horns need to be sanded down on the sides because there's a release agent that was used when horns were formed, and we want to put epoxy inside here and across these surfaces. So what I use is just a Dremel wheel, and it's just a matter of cleaning them off. It's just a matter of just cleaning them up and getting that top surface off. No pressure. Just quick and easy. Wipe them off with a little bit of alcohol and they're ready to go. I am doing one side of the stay. All we really want to do is just get rid of the release agent that's in there, and that will allow us to put epoxy on, and the epoxy will stick. Alright, so the first thing that I do when I'm trying to get these in, and so you can see I can get them in, but they've got a little bit of work. This is how I do it. So I take a simple file and I just blunt the tip off of it and I just run it through. And I clear out those areas. I still want it to be snug. And here's where I run into a problem with this plane is I put this on and you will see that this area, this is too wide. And so I can't get my second one in no matter how hard I try. It's just not gonna line up. I'm going to need to take my file and just bring this out a little wider. Drop that in, drop the second one in. The horn is positioned correctly when the holes are directly above the hinge line. Okay, now when I know they're gonna line up and everything lines up well, once I have the area masked off, I cut just about 1/8 of an inch inside where the Ultracoat is and then peel it off. You've got that pulled out, and now this right here is where epoxy is going to go. Now I'm going to do this with both elevators and both ailerons. The rudder I'm going to do separately. We'll go to the next one and go from there. Once I have everything laid out, then I mix together my Deluxe 1 hour epoxy. And then I pour it into a syringe, and then I use the blunt lure lock needles, and that allows me to pour the epoxy down inside there. I work it around using a zip tie. I add epoxy to the horn, making sure that I fill each of the holes within that horn, and then drop it down and let it sit. I go back, I wipe everything off with a little bit of alcohol. Once all the surfaces are done, then I remove the masking tape. The process for installing the rudder control horn is exactly the same, but it does take a little bit longer, and this is why I do it separately from the other control horns. I don't want the epoxy to harden or start to set before I get finished with all of them. So in this process, I just go in, I make sure that everything dry fits, I add my epoxy, I put my horns through, put the stays in, and then afterwards I modified a jig so that there is a straight line between the servo holes and the hinge line itself, and that's when I know I've done it correctly. Installing servo horns is a time-consuming process. If you use 1 hour epoxy, you set everything up in advance, and then you do multiple surfaces at the same time. It does speed up the process of building the plane, and it makes things a lot easier. Join me on the next video where we're going to discuss servo bay prep, laying out wires, and getting servos in place. If you appreciate the content that I'm putting forth, please like, share, comment below, and be sure and subscribe. Until next time, happy landings.